Hey friends, Sharon here. I just watched this really cool movie on Netflix last night called A Most Violent Year, starring Oscar Isaac. It was filmed in or based in the 1980s corrupt New York, and this guy, he owned an oil company, and it just really went through the challenges that he had as he was on his way to really make it big in the city. And I thought about, as you prepare for the week, this coming week, just some key takeaways that I'd like to share with you. First one, have at least two people who has your back. In this movie, the guy had his wife and he had a lawyer. But these two people were not afraid to tell him the truth when it mattered. Sometimes they had to tell him the hard truth, and I believe that we all need that. We need that in our lives. We need at least two people who would tell us the hard truth. So that was one key takeaway. Number two, have a resourceful network. When Oscar needed financing and the banks let him down, he was able to call on his network and was able to get financial help. But sometimes it's not just financial help, it's just creative help. In other words, when your network is resourceful, they're like an unofficial mastermind. And you need to have that as a business owner, as a leader, as an entrepreneur. It's good to develop a resourceful network. Balance both with money as well as talent. And so that was another key takeaway I saw in that movie. Number three, do not compromise your integrity, no matter how tempting it may be or how weak and foolish you may look. In this movie, again, even Oscar's wife wanted him to go gangster, but he had a set of values that he wanted to abide by. And I always push core values. I always, remind my clients that one of the first things that you have to consider and to agree upon before you start any venture is, what are your core values? What do you truly believe? Because when the going gets tough, when decision times come, you have to rely on your core values. And this guy, his team was being beaten, his men were just being abused. Honestly, even I at times thought, gee, just one time, do something. And it was really awesome how even in the face of just adversity, he still took the high road. He decided he did not want to be a gangster. He felt like if he went down that road even a little bit, if he gave it an inch, he'd be sucked into that life forever. And so have that set of core values going in, and do not compromise your integrity. Number four, humble yourself. Humble yourself. When Oscar needed money, there were times when he really had to humble himself. He had to, some people say he had to belittle himself, but he had a bigger vision and a bigger goal in mind. And sometimes in business, we have to eat some humble pie. And he did that, and he did it very well. And this is just a reminder for us that when your goal is so big, you do what it takes. And a little humility goes a long way. It did for this character. Do not allow pride and false modesty to stand in the way of your goals. Never do that. That's silly. And the last thing, which I know most entrepreneurs, at least I should say every entrepreneur know, is to persevere and persist through your obstacles, including jealousy. And this is something that many people don't talk about, but many times as an entrepreneur or a business person, a leader, someone going up in life, God, jealousy comes from the most unusual places. It could come from your employees, it could come from your employer, it could come from your spouse, unfortunately, it could come from family members, best friends. And that is painful and that can trip you up. But again, always keep in mind, what is your bigger goal? What is your bigger vision? And it better be worth it too. Consider the cost, because you're going to lose friends. You're going to lose relationships. You're going to lose. But if you're losing for a greater gain, it's okay. Persist and persevere through adversity, especially through the jealousies that will occur as you are on your way for something great. As you consider your plans and goals this week, I just, bear that in mind, those 5 principles again. Have at least 2 people in your life that can tell you the hard truths. Have a resourceful network. Do not compromise your integrity. Know what your value system is based on. Humble yourself where you need to. And 5, persist and persevere through those challenges. Have a great week. God bless.